Want to bring in the former head of the Small Business Administration, Linda McMahon. She's also the former CEO of WWE and currently the chair of America First Policies, which promotes President Trump's policy agenda. Linda, great to have you here. Yesterday, the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, said millions won't return to their jobs. In the Washington Post last month, it said 100,000 small businesses will be closed permanently. We saw how many workers are unemployed, now up to 44 million with those estimates. Wonder what you know about the president's plan to help new businesses get started, since so many of these small businesses are not going to be able to come back.
Well, Dana, I think there is so much good news out there today as well. I mean, we are seeing the Great American Comeback, and I'll address your issue in just a second, but we're seeing the Great American Comeback. I mean, yes, we've seen still another 1.5 million people apply for unemployment, but that's down. There was 1.9 million people applying for unemployment, so the trend is in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And the report that came out last week, we had those 2.5 million jobs, the greatest job market, I think, in history. So all of that, I think, is good news. And on Friday, America First Policies will have its first Great American Comeback event in Pittsburgh. And our special guest for that first event of this tour is going to be Mike Pence. He will tour a small business there, and he will also address the crowd and meet with the local press to talk about the Great American Comeback. So I think there is so much as part of good news when you look at what NFIB reports, that they're seeing a small business.
But I'm not denying that there's good news.
They're coming back.
I'm not denying that there's not good news, but there are people that are still hurting, and they're wondering what more is to come. Even Steve Mnuchin yesterday said that we need to have additional support for people. This woman, I noticed this, her name is Shelley Ross. She's the owner of Tales of the Kitty. She told the New York Times that the PPP rules were just too stringent for her. She sent the money back. She said she cried when she did. She thought it would save her business, but she was worried about being financially ruined if it wasn't forgiven, and no one could give me any real answers about that. Is that something that you all can help to try to clarify these rules for people so that they know what help is available to them, so that they can get their businesses back up and running?
Well, I think that is something that the SBA is working on, and I certainly think that the president this week, with his, I think it was this week or late last week, with his executive order that, amended the PPP. It gave businesses more flexibility in how to use the funds. It extended the time frame, and I think there is more clarification about the loans that are and how they are being forgiven. So I think all that's in process. It was a struggle, a little bit of a struggle at first because of the sheer volume of it.
What about ideas for helping retrain workers, right? So if new skills are going to be needed, you have people, older people that are a little afraid to go back to work because they're worried about their health, but they still need to work and they need those jobs. What about ideas in regards to helping them figure out a way to navigate what will be a new marketplace?
Well, if you recall, Dana, even last year, early last year, I think with Ivanka Trump certainly started a program. It was protection for the American worker. And over 300, I think about 360 companies are involved in retraining the American workers, the pledge to retrain American workers, which will produce approximately 14 million new jobs. So that process is already underway. And the president wants to make sure that we have our vocational and technical programs in high schools. He wants to put about $1 billion into that training so that students who graduate, they have a skill, they can do something, and they're not just graduating with a lot of debt. So I think there are a lot of programs underway, and this president is all for that.
All right, Linda McMahon, good luck on your tour, and have fun tomorrow in Pittsburgh.
Thank
That's
you.
a great American city indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Governors are